Okay, welcome everybody to the latest fireside chat with the Happiness Index. We're very fortunate enough to be joined by one of our customers, Trifast, who I'll very soon introduce you to. For those of you who might be completely unaware of what the Happiness Index do, we very much help organisations across the world measure the entire employee experience by focusing on the key drivers of happiness and engagement. And this is really an opportunity for Helen and Warren, who have very kindly joined us today, to share a little bit more around their listing strategy and how that has evolved. So I will hand over to Helen and Warren just to introduce themselves, what they do at Trifast, and a little bit about what Trifast do. So I'll hand over to you guys to introduce yourselves.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Helen Toole. I'm the Global HR Director and actually Sustainability Director now as well for Trifast. I've worked with the organisation for 12 years now, and we've been very much increasing our ability to do our employee engagement piece, which the Happiness Index is a huge part of. Trifast was started in 1973, so we're 50 years old next year. It was started by two Mikes, Mike Timms and Mike Roberts, which are the T and the R of TR. So TR Fastenings is pretty much our trading name, and Trifast is our PLC overarching business. So we provide, we engineer as well, manufacture and distribute nuts and bolts. They're not nuts and bolts that you find in B&Q. They are nuts and bolts that are specialist for particular areas. We do an awful lot of work in the automotive sector and in the health and home, so washing machines, tumble dryers, things like that, and general industrial. So they are, what we try and do is we try and engineer our products into the start of a program. For example, if there's a program for an automotive customer, we would get our engineers in to talk to the company, the manufacturers, and design our products into their product, so that we know that we've got longevity then in a vehicle build, for example, which could be between 5 and 7 years. So they are specialist products, specialist fastenings, and they can be plastic fastenings, they can be all sorts of different materials, but yeah, we do things, we make sure that things are held together correctly. There's a huge amount of quality issues in that, as you can imagine, so we have a huge quality department to sort that out as well. But yeah, we hold the world together is a strapline that we have used in the past. I'm sorry, Warren, introduce yourself.
I like that one. Yeah, hi, I'm Warren Dipper. I'm the Group HR Manager, and I've been with the company for 6 months. 6 months actually this week, so yeah, very new, very excited, and yeah, that's me.
As a general thing, we have 34 locations across the world, so we're a truly global organization. We have operations in Asia, in Europe, in the UK, and in America. So we are truly global in that sense, and we pride ourselves on our customer service. And we have a new, not actually that new, 2 years ago, a new sales director who has come in and said that he has never seen customer focused business as much as ours is, and that's what we pride ourselves on. And the T and the R, we also use that now as trusted reliability, and we're very much into making sure that our products are, you know, obviously they need to be reliable, but we can be trusted in how we deal with each other, but how we also deal with our investors, our analysts that we have to deal with. So we have a huge, as a PLC, we have a huge stakeholder base that we have to satisfy, and we have to keep happy. So we're pretty good at that.
Excellent, thank you both. I've just stopped sharing so people can see see you as well now. So if we were to rewind ever so slightly, even before you started working with the Happiness Index, when you were looking for a partner, was there to help you with your listening strategy? Was there something in particular you were looking for in terms of that partnership, and why was it important for you to find somebody who could help you with that piece?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been on an evolution in terms of our people management over the years. When I first came in 12 years ago, there was really no HR function. I did a review of what was there, and then just, wrote a report and said, here's some recommendations to take that forward. And part of that was, how do we communicate? How do we engage with our employees? Our biggest issue, of course, is our global nature, which is a fantastic thing, with 1,300 people based across all of these locations. But how do we reach them? How do we make sure we do that? Because we have some people who don't have access to a PC every day. They might be, standing by a machine, operating a machine to create our products. Or we've got people in our warehouses and distribution units whereby they're not can't sit by a computer every day. So what we were looking for was a partner that could help us with the global nature and being able to reach the hard to reach people. And that was a really good focus for us at that point.
Excellent. Fantastic. And I imagine working globally, there's various different cultures within that. Has that been interesting to delve more into more detail?
Always. And I think the beauty of Trifast is wherever you go, you get the same welcome. We have a really, really lovely culture in terms of everyone being receptive and open. And what we've tried to do over the last 5 years since Mark Belton took over as a CEO was to bring the group together more. So we implemented an HR business partner network. So we now have representatives in all of our locations, and we come together every 3 weeks and we talk a lot about how things are in particular locations. Throughout COVID, we were speaking to them once a fortnight, and we were tracking. You can imagine, it started in China and it's spread through. We watched all of that happen, and our ability then, because we'd set up the network just before that, has been really helpful, because we've been able to help each other and listen to each other and put actions in place to protect people. Yep. It is really hard though, because cultures are different, and we've had some of our responses in Happiness Index survey, because we do the culture surveys twice a year, and it's 10 out of 10 everywhere. In one particular location, you're thinking it can't possibly be 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. We're good, but we're not that good, sort of thing. So it's trying to say, well, you don't have to tell us it's great. Actually, we want to hear that it's that, where the issues are, so that we can put the actions in place. So there are those cultural differences that we're continually exploring.
Yeah, and you've touched on it there as well, Helen. But how would you describe your current listening strategy and what that looks like for you, and the benefit it can give you?
Yeah, I mean, when we first met with yourselves a few years ago now, in 2019, I think it was when we first met, what appealed to us then was the fact that you listened to us, which enabled then us to be able to put something in place that was that we were able to listen to our people. So for you were our obvious choice. We did speak to other people, but you were our obvious choice, the way that you and your teams dealt with us. I think we were very attracted by the employee voice, the 24/7 platform that you have, and we've been using that, and we monitor that regularly. I think we had a huge input at the beginning that waned a little bit, and we have to keep reminding people it's there. It is on our SharePoint site, so people can access it every day if they want to. But we do. That was a really good point, because I think if you have this culture surveys, which are brilliant because they're so detailed, and we can cut and dice that information down to location and department level. But I think that's done once every 6 months. It's just really nice to be able to have that everyday ability for people to contact us and let us know. The difficulty we have, of course, is the anonymity sometimes, because somebody's put something in, you go, oh, I wonder where they are. So I think there is that element of that, but we do say when we talk about it, we say, please do let us, if you really do want us to hear something, you can email us anyway, you can call us anyway. But if you want to put something in there that you want to be identified, just pop your name in the comment box, because it would be useful. It's obvious with some people because they write in their own language, and then we translate that, so we can say, okay, well, it's Italy, or it's Hungary, or it's somewhere else. So we can hone it down that way, but not so easy to identify sometimes. We also have, it's a very, very major part of our main board PLC is employee engagement as well. And we have a people non-exec director, is actually our chair, Jonathan Shearman, who has an email address, and which is open all the time for people to contact him if they want to.
Brilliant.
For more serious things, we have a whistleblowing hotline, which we don't have any whistleblowing. We haven't had any whistleblowing issues, but we do have that open to everybody as well. And we're trying to get much better at communicating via video, for example, or getting our messages out in a different way, because I think we all know how many emails we get and how lost we can get in the number of emails that might come through in a day. And I think if you're trying to communicate solely by email, people they won't read, or it'll just get lost. So we try our
Okay.
But we're trying to do as much as we can to open that and to gain people's trust that this system works. What we try and do when we send out the results for the surveys, we say, you said we've done this as a result of that, and reminding people that that's what we've been doing.
And it sounds like, from what you're saying as well, your fellow colleagues are very much brought into this process, and there's a real belief that this is only going to help moving forward, just from that pure listening aspect, as you've
and it was an easy sell, if you like. When we decided this was what we wanted to do, we took it to the PLC board, because it is an investment in cost, time, and all of those things, and there wasn't anybody that said, no, I don't think we should do that. Everybody was really behind it, and are very interested in the results. So I report to the main board on the results when we get them, because they are really very interested in how the numbers might be moving, or the response rate might be. So
fantastic. And that's actually quite a nice segue into, I guess, from a practical perspective, how does it help you achieve, I guess, some of your more strategic aims that you have as a business?
I think one of our, I'm talking too much.
That's all right.
I mean, one of our major strategic issues for people is well-being. I think over the last two and a bit years, certainly we've had the issue of COVID. We've had to deal with that. We've had to have people working in different environments in different ways. We've had people who haven't been able to work at home, and we've had people that do work at home, and the conflicts that sometimes can come, or the perception that it's all right for them and it's not all right for us, or whatever. We've had that to deal with. So employee well-being has been a huge part of our thought processes for the last couple of years. We introduced an employee assistance program in February this year. So because I think some people don't want to come to us necessarily and say, I've got a problem, but if they've got an anonymized counselling system that they can go to, all we would get is the usage numbers. We wouldn't know who, and we wouldn't know what, but we've provided that now for people, and this coming out of the survey results, that has helped us, because some of the scores made us think, okay, well, going back to when I said, you said, we did. One of those was, well-being at that point, and survey results are only a point in time, but they are useful in terms of the consistency of scoring, and that's what I like about with the standard deviation, with the way that you can look at that makes it really, really straightforward. But I think we needed to provide that. People also said that they wanted more training. So we've now got a new learning management system going out next week. We've put in some online training in the last 18 months, but we've got a new super duper all singing, all dancing learning management system going in next week. So it's really helping us to respond to the needs of our people, which is great.
Brilliant. And when you have been rolling out those changes as a result of the feedback, have you noticed a change in people's view in terms of them giving feedback, and has it added a bit of even more of a positive feel to people's experience at work, because they can see?
I hope it has. I hope that, but I think we've seen it through the response rates. I don't know, Warren, if you want to talk about that, because there was a lot of work you did to make that happen as well, to increase that.
And I think also it is enabling people as well. So with the training, for example, it's good for us as a tool to use as well, and good for other managers. Even if it's something quite simple as, Excel. So one of my team needs some extra Excel learning, we can just guide them straight away to that platform, and it's there, and it's simplistic in the way that it's set out, but it can go into as much depth as you need as a manager. And I think, like Helen said, I think touching on that was that people wanted that extra training, and they wanted it accessible, and they wanted that visibility with it, and we've given them that, as well as a L&D manager as well that oversees it and is really passionate about the role that she does. So that is a really big step forward for us. And some of the feedback I get, as being on site quite often, is how good that is, and that how easy it is to access. And now with the all singing or dancing platform that's coming out next week, even more kudos. That's even going to be more that we can then look back on and say, yeah, we've done that. You've said this, and this is what we've done. Making it really positive and pushing it forward.
Brilliant. And as you are a global organization as well, when you are rolling out these changes and these updates, does the sheer size, is that a challenge, or is that something which you're very much used to when you're sharing that?
I'd say it's still a bit of a challenge, because in terms of numbers, we're not huge. It's only 1,300 people, so that's not an enormous number of employees to be in touch with. Our issue is the fact that they don't have access to, they're not sitting by a desk all day. So they are harder to reach people. I think with the global reach of it is the exciting part of the job that we do, because we're involved in all sorts of things in different countries all over the place, and we've actually got back to traveling over the last couple of months. We've actually went to America again for the first time in 2 years, and went over to Spain to see our colleagues over there. So the ability to do that and to get our message out personally, I think is enormously helpful now, because I think we've all been behind our screens for such a long time, which is fine. When you've got created relationships already, that's easy to do. When you're trying to create new relationships, then I think the face-to-face really works. We bought a business over in America, in North Carolina, last summer, and I hadn't been able to get there, and I went out there a couple of months ago, and just the interaction, being able to walk amongst everybody and chat, and wearing a mask for 9 hours on a flight wasn't great fun, but each way. But when we were there, it wasn't so difficult, and those relationships are now created, which makes that huge difference. So I think there's a combination of reaching people through your product, but also we do need to back that up, and then we can go and sing the product's praises. We can go and talk about the happiness index in a more personal way, which I think is helpful, and the reasons why we've done it, so that people understand that using it's there for a reason, and it's there that it's for you. It's a good thing for you to be able to interact with. So
Brilliant. And Helen, you touched on, I guess, one of the key impacts that the pandemic had was it changed how we worked. Warren, did you find it's been a similar benefit, just being able to see people in a face-to-face scenario?
Definitely, and I think that I mean, we're sort of embracing a lot of agile working and hybrid working. I think that it's really important for me, particularly, I feel, because I'm in a very front-facing role, and very conscious that the employee engagement means that I need to physically engage quite often with some people that don't have that day-to-day access as well, to PCs, like Helen mentioned. So I always make sure that when I'm in the office, I'm very visible, and I walk around the site as well. And I think it's important, not just for me in my job, but also important that people can engage with me personally and physically and talk to me, and they stop me. And I mix that, of course I do, we all mix that with the working from home piece, but also aligned to what Helen was saying. Just last week I was on a call with the US with an issue they had over there with some engagement. I was talking to someone in Hungary. So that global reach, particularly now that I can mix that up, so I obviously will call the US and I call the team in Hungary. But when I'm on site here, if I go up to the Midlands, I can physically be there, and you get that instant from the coalface type of feedback straight away. Yes, we do our surveys, but I can also get feedback on a daily basis if someone says to me, the kitchens aren't clean or something like that. It's instant, and we can instantly do something about it. We can instantly put something in practice as well, which then complements as well the employee voice and the surveys that we do, and the thematic surveys that we're doing, like the wellbeing ones coming up.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because we do the full culture survey, and we're just about to do our fourth one. So we get an awful lot of information from that, but we don't just do that. We do the thematic surveys in between. So that we're actually honing in on something that we feel is relevant and we would like the feedback on. So to help us move our strategy forward is like, okay, so we can sit here, Warren and I can sit here and go, yeah, I think we should do that. But actually, if we're talking to our people and say, what do you need, what do you want, then that's going to be much more beneficial to the whole organisation. So.
And the wellbeing is a big piece at the moment, like we've touched on with coming hopefully through the pandemic, and some of the other issues that people have had with working from home or not working from home, and dealing with family issues and things like that. So it's very timely that we want to make sure that employee wellbeing not only is at top of the agenda for the whole business, but I wanted to make sure that we could get some feedback on that as well by running a wellbeing survey as well, to get a snapshot of what's going on as well.
And when you have gathered feedback in the past, has there ever been anything which has surprised you, or does it normally validate what you currently think is the current sentiment?
I would say there's nothing probably major that surprised us, but some really simple things where one of our lowest scores, sadly, was that we didn't thank people enough, or people didn't feel that they were thanked for doing a good job. That did surprise me, because I thought we were good at that. That's what we should be doing. But it's very simple to fix, that one. Extremely simple to fix. And so that feedback for managers and for everybody is to just say thanks. It's really straightforward. So that was a surprise, but as an easy fix. I don't think we've had anything that we weren't aware of, but it's really interesting to be able to hone that down into a location or a department or something like that. So okay, that's where we maybe need to focus a bit more on, and that's what I really like about the platform, because you can slice and dice that data in a way that is really meaningful.
Fantastic. And just going again back to the global aspect, obviously you collaborate with global colleagues in HR, for example. Again, has it been a challenge, or has it been fairly easy to get everybody adopted and understand the importance of sort of the continuous listing strategy which you guys have adopted?
I think when we set the HR Business Partner Network up, we had our European and our American colleagues over here for 3 days, and we ran a conference and said, this is what an HR business partner means. This is what it means. This is what we would expect you to help us. And it's implementation of strategy as well as and policies and everything, as well as the employee engagement piece. And then we actually went to Bangkok and met with all our Asian colleagues over there, did the same conference with them. So everybody had the same message about what we were wanting to do. And now it's really easy when we have the calls with them. We say, right, the survey's coming out, you need to chase people to respond because we really want to get our response rates up. And they fully understand why we're doing it. And I think our regular communication with them is key. And that's what keeps our whole network working really well, because we don't disengage. We don't think, oh, well, we'll wait a couple of months before we talk to everybody. We're doing it slightly less now, but as I said before, we were doing it every 2 weeks throughout COVID, but we've kind of just lessened that off to every 3 weeks. But still, it's more than once a month that we talk to everybody collectively, which is great. And one day it would be fabulous to get them all together again.
Excellent.
But I think we might be a few months, if not a year away from that. But that would be a really lovely thing to do, because we've got so much to say now as well about what we're doing. So brilliant.
And what again, the question to both of you, what do you find the most rewarding aspect of working in the area you do? Is there anything that sticks out for you guys
in HR?
That you particularly enjoy, or just working at Trifast in general?
If I talk about in HR, it's people to me. You know, yes, I'm very much very strategic as well, but I also know that what makes the wheel turn is the people and how we engage those people. Most importantly, they're our most important commodity. What excites me about Trifast, I think, and Helen's touched on it there, then is, though yes, we are only 1,300 people currently, that global reach is amazing. You know, where we're having to deal with different time zones, different cultures, different people on a daily, hourly, minute by minute basis, and that is really exciting. And that sort of joining up of that and making sure that we are sort of communicating, particularly in HR, with the business partner network, and making sure that we're all joining up in our aims and our strategic outlook. You know, the sky's the limit. It's just, there's so much to achieve, so much more we want to do, and we will do, but we've done so much already. Considering what we've been through for the last 2 years as well, and you know, as we're opening up, you know, that's just gonna grow and grow.
Fantastic.
I would echo that. I think from my perspective, what I love about it is the variety. It can make the days quite long when you're talking to Asia at, you know, the end of their day, the beginning of ours, and America at the beginning of theirs and the very end of ours. But again, it's very satisfying work. And I think when we spoke about the culture before, we've kind of got a professional team culture. We all look at things and see the bigger picture. So it's like, you might have, you know, we've got an operation in Sweden, in Norway, in Holland, in Hungary, and so they are very, very passionate about their own profit and loss. So they've got their customers, they know what they're doing, but they are also completely aware of the fact that actually together we are stronger, and we get that message across. One team is one of our biggest messages that we get across to our businesses, because that's the bit that works. That's the bit that makes us as good as we are, I think.
Fantastic. That one team aspect is incredibly powerful, isn't it? Once you get
really powerful. And you know, we've acquired businesses over the years where people have, you know, they've been family run businesses, so they have been very insular, and then incorporating them into the group is something that we've got very good at, but it's a change for them, and then we have to help them through that change. We're not here to stop what you're doing, because we want you to be as successful as you were, if not more. So we don't want to change things for change's sake, but just being part of the group is a benefit, and seeing those benefits and explaining those benefits, really.
And again, you mentioned the merging aspect there, Helen, with other organizations. I imagine that's quite an exciting, but nonetheless, I assume a challenging aspect from when you're essentially bringing together two cultures. I imagine that's
it is, yes, but what I would say is that we are quite good. We have an M&A team,
Yeah.
And we recognise, and over the years of doing lots of M&A, and you know, our strategy is still to do a lot more of that in the future, is that we don't just look at the numbers, we don't just look at the properties, we look at how the culture of that organisation is.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't fit, it doesn't come.
Brilliant.
So it is an element of the M&A responses, really. So I think we've had some, before my time, a long time ago, you know, not so easy acquisitions, but you know, going forward, I think we look at the people aspect of it as a major part of that.
Brilliant. Fantastic. And I guess just moving towards the end, it wouldn't be the happiness index if we didn't ask you this question. But what makes you guys happy? And it can be absolutely anything.
Go.
Outside of work.
Yeah, work, outside of work,
whatever
you like.
Yeah, apart from work, obviously. Outside of work, I think it's I often speak about this. I think it's really important, particularly after what we've all been through the last 2 years, is that you embrace what goes on outside of work as well.
Yeah.
So your family, your friends, your social life, you know, good food, for me, good wine, gin,
Yeah.
visiting places, hopefully starting going back on holidays and things like that. I think you just really need to get that balance right. And yes, I know I will bang on about employee wellbeing and work-life balance, you know, till I'm blue in the face, but it's so important for everyone. And yeah, get me a good bottle of wine and a good meal and I'm happy. I was sat in the pub with 2 pints in my hand, well, 1 pint and then another one. But you know, I think it's those you embrace and really appreciate those, a lot of the finer things in life and some of the simpler things in life.
Yeah. Brilliant. And yourself, Helen?
What makes me really happy is walking my dog in the forest up the road from where I live. I get a sense of real well-being from doing that, and I think from COVID hadn't realised how important being outside is. So walking my dog, but also yeah, again, good food, good wine, and good friends. I think that's, you know, the social aspect. I'm a bit of a social person, so I do like to interact with others a lot, which is probably why I ended up in the job that I'm in. But it is that, it's friends and family, and you know, and just having a lot of fun outside of work. We have quite a bit of fun in work.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, probably more outside, as you would expect.
Definitely. Excellent. Well, thank you very much to the both of you.
It's a pleasure.
For this, and yeah, this will be released soon. And yeah, just thank you very much both for sharing your story with us, and look forward to catching up soon.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks very much, Pat.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Caroline.